The dangerous river. The rain continued to fall heavily as the boss slowly followed the narrow forest road that Warrior Pasan had shown them. Tall trees bent and swayed as the wind pushed through the forest. Inside the boss, the children were quiet now. The laughter from earlier had disappeared. Everyone watched the dark road carefully. After some time, the bus stopped again. The driver pointed ahead. "Teacher, the road ends here." The children stood slightly from their seats to look outside. In front of them was a wide, muddy river, rushing wildly between the trees. The water moved fast and carried branches, baskets, and pieces of wood. The storm had made the river angry. The children could hear the loud sound of the water crashing against rocks. "Is this the river to Ewa Village?" one girl asked softly. The teacher nodded slowly. "Yes, but it has never looked this dangerous before." Just then, boom! Thunder struck again, and lightning flashed across the sky. For a moment, the children saw something surprising. A small wooden boat was tied to a tree near the riverbank. The wind pushed the boat back and forth on the rough water. Warrior Pasan stepped forward and looked at the river calmly. "This is the only way to reach Ewa Village now," he said. The children looked at each other with worry. "The boat?" one boy asked nervously. Warrior Pasan nodded. "The storm will only get stronger. If we wait here, the forest road may flood." The teacher thought for a moment while the rain fell harder. The children watched as Warrior Pasan began to untie the rope holding the boat. The river roared louder. The wind shook the trees. Then suddenly, a huge wave crashed against the riverbank, pushing the boat violently. The children gasped. The boat rocked dangerously on the water. One of the children whispered, "Teacher, are we really going to cross that river?" The teacher looked at the raging water. Then she looked at Warrior Pasan. But before she could answer, another loud sound came from deep inside the forest behind them. Something was moving in the trees. The children turned quickly. The dark forest suddenly felt too quiet, and whatever was inside the forest was coming closer. The forest behind the children rustled loudly. Branches shook as something moved through the dark trees. The children quickly gathered closer to the teacher. "Everyone stays calm," the teacher said, trying to keep her voice steady. Warrior Pasan looked toward the forest for a moment, then quickly turned to the river. "We must leave now," he said seriously. "The storm is getting worse." The wind blew harder, and the rain poured heavily on the river. The children carefully stepped out of the boat and hurried toward the wooden boat. The muddy ground made it difficult to walk. One by one, they climbed into the boat while holding tightly to the sides. The river was loud and restless. The moment everyone was inside, the Warrior Pasan pushed the boat away from the riverbank. The strong current immediately grabbed the boat. The children held on tightly as the river tossed the boat from side to side. Splash! Water jumped into the boat as waves hit the sides. Lightning flashed across the sky. For a brief moment, the children saw the river clearly. Swirling, muddy, and powerful. Branches floated past them. Broken wood spun around in the rushing water. "Hold tight!" Warrior Pasan shouted as he tried to control the boat with a long wooden paddle. Suddenly, crack! A loud sound echoed across the forest. Lightning struck a tall tree near the riverbank. The tree split and crashed into the river with a huge splash. The boat rocked violently. The children screamed. The river pushed the boat dangerously close to the fallen tree. Warrior Passan struggled to steer away from the branches. The storm was now fiercer than ever. Then, something strange happened. One of the children pointed into the dark water. Look! The others stared at the river. For a moment, they thought it was just another piece of wood floating past. But then, it moved. Slowly. Something long and dark was swimming beneath the boat. The children froze. Even Warrior Passan stopped paddling for a second. Because whatever was under the water was following them.